In the first scene, young Henry Turner, Lewis McGowan, leaves his home in the middle of the night to take a rowboat out to sea. He ends up at the bottom of the sea, inside the terrible ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman. Will Orlando Bloom, Henry's father, is still cursed as captain of the Dutchman. Henry wishes to break his father's curse by obtaining the famous trident of Poseidon, which he believes he can obtain with the assistance of Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, but Will believes it is a hopeless cause and advises his son to abandon his quest. He returns Henry to his boat. 9 years later, Henry, now played by Brenton Thwaites, is a member on board the Monarch, a British Royal Navy ship. He realizes the ship is approaching the Devil's Triangle, a deadly area of the Atlantic Ocean where ships are not permitted to cruise. Henry hurries to tell the captain of their impending trajectory, but is charged with disobedience and imprisoned in the ship's brig. The vessel, indeed, passes through the rocky barriers that lead into the Devil's Triangle. They are soon ambushed by the Silent Mary's undead pirates. The Phantom Pirates kill the troops one at a time. Captain Armando Salazar, Javier Bardem, boards the battleship. He walks down to the brig and notices a wanted poster for Jack Sparrow. Salazar discovers Henry's cell and instructs the boy to inform Jack that Salazar would be coming for him. Karina Smith, Caius Scodelario, is imprisoned in a cell on the island of St. Martin after being accused of witchcraft. In truth, she is only an expert in astronomy and horology. She manages to pick her lock and escape while speaking with a guard. Meanwhile, Jack has broken into a bank vault and is sleeping inside it on the island. His team attaches the entire bank to a herd of horses and has them move it through the streets. They make it back to Jack's new ship, the Dying Gull, which is moored near the shore. When the crew carries the vault aboard, they find it empty except for a single coin, which Jack naturally takes for himself. The gang is fed up with how Jack has been directing them. Mr. Gibbs, Kevin McNally, has also given up on old Jack. They all turn away from him and leave him alone. Henry is still a British Royal Navy prisoner and is about to be hanged for treason, but he is startled to find Karina disguised herself to find Henry personally. She wishes to assist Henry in locating the Trident of Poseidon and is able to do so because to a diary she has in her possession that has a map to the Trident, which only became visible during a blood moon thanks to a red diamond she has been carrying. Jack goes to exchange his magical compass, which guides the possessor to what they wish, for, what else, a bottle of rum. Once the trade is completed, Salazar and his crew are freed from the Devil's Triangle, freeing them to travel the waters in search of Jack. Karina assists Henry in escaping, but she and Jack are apprehended. Jack sees Henry in his cell and discovers he is the son of the late Will Turner and Elizabeth Swan. When Henry discovers Jack, he sees him as a humiliated drunk locked up in a jail and is dismayed. He explains to Jack how he intends to break his father's curse. Jack and Karina are led to the gallows for execution. On his journey to the noose, Jack visits a cell and meets his uncle Jack, Paul McCartney, a pirate who has seen better days but is satisfied with his life as a pirate. Before Jack and Karina's punishments are carried out, Henry gathers Jack's crew to assist them escape, despite the fact that Henry is only paying them to spare Jack. The pirates fight the guards and the executioner, and Karina is almost hanged until Henry rescues her. Everyone makes their way to the Dying Gull and manages to free it from its clutches. Captain Hector Barbassa, Geoffrey Rush, is enjoying his time as the captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge after stealing it from Captain Blackbeard, with his new crew assisting him in reaping many prizes. However, Barbassa discovers that Salazar is present. He meets Shansa, Golshifteh Farahani, a sea witch who has taken possession of the compass and gives it to Barbassa. Salazar and his crew soon discover the Queen Anne's Revenge, and Salazar meets with Barbassa after discovering he possesses the compass. He asks him to assist him in apprehending Jack. Salazar explains his fight with Jack. Salazar was a formidable captain of the Spanish Navy who traveled the seas with his troops, slaughtering every pirate they encountered. They found a young Jack, who was still a crew member on his ship. As Salazar and his crew annihilated Jack's crew, the young lad hastily obtained the compass from one of his dying colleagues. Jack deceived Salazar into sailing his ship into the Devil's Triangle with his rapid thinking. Salazar's ship and soldiers were destroyed, but the Devil's Triangle's magic brought them back to life as ghosts. Jack was then appointed captain of his ship. Salazar now wants to find the trident in order to kill Jack and every other pirate on the island. Barbassa offers to assist in the search for Jack. Aboard the Gull, Jack notices Henry and Karina's growing attraction. He puts it to the test by threatening to toss Henry overboard. The pirates do so, but they put him on a rowboat and only reveal it to Karina after she reacts fearfully. The British Royal Navy arrives shortly after and heads after the Gull, but they are sunk by the Silent Mary. Salazar is after Jack, prompting Jack to inform Gibbs and the rest of the crew that they are dealing with the dead. Jack and his crew are attacked by phantom pirates. While the others struggle, Jack, Karina, and Henry board a rowboat. Karina disembarks the rowboat and swims to a nearby island. Salazar has reanimated dead sharks and sent them after Jack and his crew before Henry can do the same. Jack and Henry strive to avoid the sharks, and they manage to grab onto one and ride it to shore. Salazar and his soldiers pursue them, but they can't touch down without melting in the sun. Salazar promises to wait for Jack while he and Henry make their way into the island. During their trip around the island, Jack is approached by an old pirate friend who claims he owes Jack a favor. He coerces Jack into marrying his awful, widowed sister and adopting their 2 children. Before the union can be formalized, Barbassa appears and unwittingly saves Jack. However, he still requires something from Jack. He wishes to extract the black pearl from the bottle Jack has been carrying all along so that it may once again sail the waters. Jack takes the pearl from its vial and has Barbassa push it into the water, where it grows back to its massive size. Barbassa has Jack bound to the mast on the route to the trident. He walks over to Karina, who is gazing up at the stars. Barbassa suggests that Karina's father was a thief, to which she responds by slapping him. She explains to Barbassa how she got her name from a star. Barbassa deduces her name is Karina after viewing the design in her diary. He returns to Jack, and the 2 of them realize that Karina is Barbassa's daughter. He tells Jack that he gave up a child for adoption a long time ago and believes this is her. Barbassa doesn't want anybody else to know, and he threatens to cut Jack's tongue out if he says anything. The pearl eventually arrives at the island harboring the trident. Karina notices that the locations on the island correspond to the pattern of the star's alignment. She discovers the trident's location using the red diamond. The waters divides in 2, revealing the trident at the bottom of the sea. Salazar and his men discover the crew as they approach the trident. The pirates all fight, with Salazar heading after Jack. Salazar seizes the trident and attempts to murder Jack with it. Henry and Karina realize that destroying the trident will end all maritime curses. Henry rushes up and breaks the trident, which is stuck against Jack. Salazar and his troops revert to their previous status. Gibbs and the others let go of the anchor, allowing Jack, Henry, Karina, and Barbassa to resurface. They grab on, but Salazar, who isn't going to stop until Jack is dead, pursues them with some of his men. As they near the summit, the sea begins to merge. Barbassa lowers the anchor and confronts Karina. He exposes a tattoo of stars on his arm, and Karina quickly realizes what it implies. She inquires as to what she is to him. Barbassa's response is, treasure. He falls and strikes Salazar with his sword, sending the captain and his men to their, now permanent, deaths at the expense of Barbassa's own life. The crew mourns Barbassa once the other three have returned to the ship. Carina and Henry are standing on a hill. They succumb to their attraction and kiss. She's also opted to adopt the Barbassa surname. Henry uses a telescope to observe the surface of the Flying Dutchman. Will walks down to the beach, finally free. He approaches Henry and notices his jewelry, knowing it is his son's. Will embraces Henry, who pledges to explain him how he set him free. Elizabeth, Keira Knightley, who runs up to Will and kisses him, soon joins them. Jack is back in command of the Black Pearl, and the crew is eager to follow him. They embarked on their next journey. Will is resting in bed with Elizabeth after the credits. A mysterious person slowly walks in as the door opens. Then we see Davy Jones' claw. Will is startled to wake up. He clutches Elizabeth as if it were a nightmare. He is unaware that a trace of Jones' wet barnacles can be found on the floor beneath them.